I'm gonna eat this whole like rack right here. So we've used mushrooms to make lobster, crab cakes, bacon. We've used mushrooms in place of chicken. Mushrooms are a very good meat replacement. Now, one of my favorite mushrooms is the king oyster mushroom. I've used this mushroom for pulled pork, I've used it for bacon. It is a very versatile mushroom. Now, recently I saw Merle over at Goodful turn the king oyster mushroom into some ribs. I thought it was a really good idea, and she was actually using Chef Derek Sarno's technique of using 2 cast iron skillets to press the mushroom into ribs. Now, I've used this same technique in the past to turn a set of oyster mushrooms into a steak, so I know how well it works. Now, I'm gonna try it the same technique that she used, except I'm gonna use my own recipe for my own rub, my own spices and seasonings. Can the king oyster mushroom turn into a set of barbecue ribs? Let's find out. So these are some pretty normal sized king oyster mushrooms. A lot of times when I'm making these recipes, I get the very large king oyster mushrooms from my Asian market. I was still able to pick this up. These came in a pack of 3, a lot smaller. They still actually have like the substrate on the bottom. It's like a wood substrate. So we're gonna have to cut that up. But let's break these down into rib-sized pieces and kind of clean them up a little bit. So I have my 6 mushrooms. Now the one mushroom was pretty large, so I actually cut it in half because we want these to be all around the same size because they are gonna form, like you can see here, a set of boneless ribs. These look pretty good. I'm pretty happy with the look of these. Now I'm gonna save my caps here for later, just for my own use. Saute these caps up. You could slice them just like a regular mushroom. And then the ends here, this is what they actually grow in. You might be able to cut off and clean up this part if you wanted to, and then dehydrate and grind down these end bits for like a mushroom seasoning. That will still work. So at this point, I'm gonna make a seasoning broth for these, and it's gonna be fairly simple. I'm gonna do about a tablespoon of sesame oil, about a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, and about a teaspoon of liquid smoke. Now I'm just gonna use a brush, kind of mix this together, because then all we're gonna do is just put the mushrooms in the sauce all together and then toss and kind of just make sure they're all evenly coated. Now that these guys are coated up, they're looking really good. They're gonna soak in a lot of that sauce. These things are gonna be great. I am really excited. They're also gonna take seasoning really well. So I'm gonna drop about a tablespoon of the mushroom seasoning on these guys. Now I know they're already mushrooms, so this seems redundant, but mushroom seasoning is a really nice umami boost. We're gonna do about a half of a teaspoon of smoked paprika, half of a teaspoon of garlic powder, half a teaspoon of mustard powder, about half a teaspoon of cumin, and just a pinch of chili powder. Now I'm using a chipotle chili powder, which is really going to up that smokiness because everybody wants a nice smoky rib meat. Now all we're gonna do is just kind of salt them, like a nice pinch of salt, a few turns of black pepper. Same thing, just kind of give them a toss, make sure that's all nice and coated, distributed. These are really nice and seasoned up. I'm loving the way that these are looking. I mean, just absolutely loving how these are coming out. So at this point, it's time to bring in the iron skillets. So I'm gonna use 2 cast iron skillets, one fairly large, one just a slightly bit smaller. You could use both the same size, whatever you got. If you have 2 of the same size skillets, good for you. Okay, so this seems like this is heated up pretty nice. It really feels pretty good. So we're just gonna add these guys. I'm gonna try to get the thickest ones in the middle. And we're gonna put our other skillet right on top and give them a nice press. You hear that? All the water coming out of them. And we're just gonna let these guys sear for a few minutes, try to get a nice crisp on either side, like a really nice kind of like searing that flavor. And this goes without saying, make sure the bottom of your cast iron pan is really clean. Okay, we're kind of getting some smoke. Let's see what it looks like. That looks pretty good. We got a nice flat edge on that one, so I'm gonna flip these guys over. Oh yeah. Whew, hot. It is hot. When we're pressing this, we're actually pressing it in the shape, but we're also pressing that texture to be a little tighter. More meat-like is what we're hoping. Pretty happy with the way that came out. Pretty happy with how that looks, I'll be honest. Okay, these are looking great. They're pretty much ready to go. I'm gonna go ahead and get a oven-safe baking dish here. Now I'm gonna take these big ones, because I think these big ones look pretty good. and just kind of line them up to where they just fit next to each other. You know, just wave part to wave part. They'll kind of fit like a little puzzle. Now I am stoked with the way these came out. Now I have some barbecue sauce here. I made this barbecue sauce. It's just apple cider vinegar, brown sugar, and then pretty much all of the same seasonings that were on here. It's really simple to make. If you want it, let me know in the comments below. I'm just gonna pour this on pretty lightly. Make sure it's all brushed on. It's like a little bit of a thinner barbecue sauce, but it really works for baking these because it's gonna flavor them like crazy. Now I'm gonna flip them over. I've been using these tongs, but. So I just wanna make sure these guys are swimming in barbecue sauce. You don't have barbecue ribs unless they're loaded with barbecue sauce. So we're gonna cover these guys up with aluminum foil. I'm gonna drop them in my oven that has been preheated at 350 degrees for about 45 minutes to an hour. Let's go drop them in. Okay, these are done. I am so excited to see what they look like. Oh yeah. It's crazy. These things look like rib meat. Okay, so these look incredible. We just sauced them up a little bit more, but I mean, this looks like a bone-out rib. They smell amazing. Now you're gonna get your fingers dirty. I mean, that's the thing when you're eating ribs, but look at this. Look at this. Tell me that is not the most incredible thing. Let's try them out. Oh my gosh. Look at that. That's amazing. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. The meaty fibers, it has the taste, the chew, the smokiness of ribs. These are amazing. Now, if you've made these in the past because of Derek Sarno, let me know in the comments down below. Or if you plan on making these, let me know. I would love to hear what you think. I'm gonna leave my recipe in the description below, but I'm also gonna leave a link to the original Bosh video where Derek made these, where he made his version of them. But if you haven't yet, make sure you click the subscribe button and click this video right here. It's gonna be me using mushrooms for something else.